Hey, good morning. So I wanted to talk about the process a little bit of recording a song by yourself. Now, at one point, I think it's when I lived in Albuquerque, I recorded on this reel-to-reel 8-track, and it was a Fostex M80, I think is the model. And I was really happy with the sound of the recording. Um, and that was a recording for a band that I was in Albuquerque. And started doing a couple songs by myself before I moved to Albuquerque on a 4-track. And I don't think I any longer have. They may be on a cassette somewhere, but I mean it's been a long time. I can go even back into a little further back. I think I recorded a song by myself um, kind of in the early 80s, but I didn't really do it seriously until about 1995. I just wanted to give you some history because this is um, something that I've wanted to do my whole. I mean, since I was younger, I imagined like how fun it would be to record songs by myself. And at one point, when I moved back from Albuquerque, I had a real job. I was working in a group home, and I was able to make enough money where I could make payments on Fostex A8 8-track. So I bought an 8-track, I bought a mixing board, I bought microphones. Every bit of money I probably made like $280 a week, and every bit of money after my rent and whatever I put towards recording gear. And I want to go into detail about how I did recordings. So any of you out there that want to try your own, I mean, you have a desire to want to record songs by yourself, like with real drums or whatever. Say you play multiple instruments. I know one friend out there, Tranis, does. You play drums and guitar. So all you need is a recording interface and a few mics. That's pretty much it to get started. Quality, depending on you have to upgrade to make it sound like what I have going right now. So these last two songs I've used electronic drums because I live in an apartment, and I put the electronic drums through a analog I'm sorry, a tube preamp. And it helps a lot. So if you don't run it through a tube preamp, it's going to sound kind of almost too electronic-y. It still sounds electronic-y to me, but I can get by and listen to it and go, it sounds good. And pretty much all the guitar tracks are recorded pretty low, so I'm not bothering anybody when I'm recording this like ultra heavy song. So okay, this is the process I do now. Originally, I did it a different way, but I'll go into exactly what I do. So you get the song idea down. Whether it's 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, or 1 part, if you just want to get started and try something, it's exciting. So I would have a hard time like working very much stuff out when I first started doing this years ago. So I've been doing this for like 20, probably 25 years. And because it's so exciting. It really is it's like one of the most satisfying feelings I experience in life is to record a song by myself with real drums. It really is. So, okay, this is the process. I'm talking too much. All right. Quit talking, start rocking, Perky. All right. So, this is the deal. You get the parts down, play to a click track, obviously. Find something, a click track you can record. So you want a click track on one empty track that you can, in the future, delete or mute. So you get the click track to the speed of the riffs, you know. Now, both of these last songs I played to one tempo. I didn't want to. One riff I wanted to play slower, but in the process of making that happen, I could maybe have done it, but it was becoming a little too complicated, and I didn't want to deal with it. And I'm actually happy I didn't, because it turned out good. Anyway, you record the click track longer than the song. So say your song's going to be 2.5 minutes. Make sure you record the click track for 3 minutes. Then you open up another track. Play and record your guitar riff as perfectly as possible. Make sure the click track is loud and you're following it. This is really important. So you record the guitar track with the click track. The whole, exactly all the parts. And redo it. If you're not happy with it, redo it. So you get that track down. Then you record the drums. Leave the click track on there. Okay, this is the deal. This is something that happens if you think you can just do the timing with your foot, tapping your foot and playing. You'll do all right. But when you try to record drums with your guitar track, you will be off, because the human timing it fluctuates, maybe just a little bit, but you will fluctuate with your drum beat. You don't know how you're fluctuating when you're recording your guitar track. You can think you're spot on and try to record a drum track with it, and you might get really close, but there'll be a point where it'll drop, most likely. When I first started recording songs, this is what I did, because I've never liked click tracks. You know, I mean, it's like I've been in bands where they're like, Perky, use a click track, and I'm like, fuck you, you know, no. So never liked click tracks. So I deleted that out of even wanting to do it when I first started recording songs by myself. This is what I do. It's quite a challenge, but this is the benefit of recording the drum track first with no guitar, just by memory. Okay, it's hard to do. Like the last two songs that I've done, it would be nearly impossible to do that exactly by memory. I could get close, because I'd have to remember all the parts and all the amount of times and all, you know, and play everything just right. What I used to do, so if you go back to that album that I did, the My Enigma album, I think I recorded in like around 1997 or so. Like I recorded all those songs. Those were all drums first, no guitar, just by memory. Now the benefit is that you can just go off and play, and you don't have to worry about the timing as much, because when you follow guitar onto a recorded drum track, you're following the timing. So whatever drum track you play, the only thing that happens is like you may change things a little bit when you're playing the drum part, change how long a part goes, you may do something strange that is not, originally thought of, which can be a happy mistake or an accident, happy accident, which I've done many times and has turned out to be cool. And it's a they both have their benefits. So when you listen to what I recorded these last two songs, it's very structured. I'm not able to go off that much because I have to stay on time. And that's not the easiest thing, because you really have to discipline yourself to follow, and you're very, very specific. If I could just go off, see, that's the thing about recording a drum track first. You can go off and then follow it later with guitar. But you have to write down notes to how many times, and you have to keep that in mind when you're recording the drum track. But when you get the drum track down, and the first guitar track, or just the drum track down, and you just start laying everything down, it's so much fun. I mean, you start to see like the whole picture come together, and it's so rewarding in like a creative way, at least for me. I mean, when I first recorded songs by myself, I had that feeling like, oh, this is it, This is like what I'm supposed to be doing, in a sense, really, like nothing, nothing makes me more like a creative satisfied feeling than recording a song by myself. I mean, I get really, really happy. I can record a song, album with a band like I just did, and it's nothing compared to recording a song by myself. I'm like, oh man, so it's like, I was telling a friend, it's probably equal to like, say like an artist, or a really creative artist or something, finishing a painting. You're like, wow, I just, did this. I feel like it's kind of like a painting, because there's all these parts that go into it, and then when it's completed, and even the last song I did, it feels like I could add more to it. It's great how it is. I'm super happy. I'd like to record real drums. That's another thing. It's like real drums on heavy stuff, you can't beat it. And I have the gear now that recording real drums would sound heavy, really heavy. Jack would be impressed, for sure. So it's just a process for me to do it. So I can actually do it with those last two songs. I could take the drums, the electronic drums off. The only problem is I may need the click track on there, but if I take the recorded guitars with the click track over to a friend's house and record the drums, I can't remove the click track because the click track will be embedded with the guitar, so I can't do that. So there's some things like that. Like I have to. That's the only reason, because I could record real drums. I could try it, and see what happens. I think I might be able to do it, but it would take some overjobs. Anyway, so yeah, that's the process. Either drums first and then record guitars after, and that kind of opens up a little bit of space for you to be a little bit more like, just kind of do whatever you want on the drums, and not worry too much about the timing, and then record the guitars afterwards. Or be very, very specific, record a click track, record the drums to the click track, record the guitar, and you delete the click track, obviously. Then you have your your song. Now for quality, the nicer tube preamps and microphones you can get, the better off you are, really. For drums, you know, having nicer overheads, condenser overheads, and SM57s for miking the drums. SM58s are about the same thing, so you know those are definitely good for miking drums. And there's other, I mean, there's Sennheisers, there's various other you can mic your drums with any mic you want, and it'll still be cool if you just want to do a recording, you know. But you know, thinking about looking into compression, looking into tube preamps, doubling guitars, you know, tripling guitars, you know, and bass, if you go direct, okay, so this is, for me, I go through a tube preamp and then direct for bass. Everything else was mic'd through a little guitar amp. I don't really like direct guitar. You can do that, but direct guitar, it's hard to make it not sound like... I'm just never happy with direct guitar. I'll just say that. So I always mic a guitar amp. It can cause, you know, you can get amp buzz, which you'll hear on that. There's amp buzz on both those recordings, but that's okay. You know, it still keeps the rawness there. So if you guys, anybody out there that's interested in, if you have any questions, please send me a question, even on any future videos if you're trying to record stuff by yourself. I've been doing it for 25 years, and I've probably recorded 100, around 100 songs by myself with drums. That's just the ones with, you know, with real drums or electronic drums. I've recorded a lot of songs like that. So yeah, alright, well, I hope that helps, and I hope this was semi-entertaining anyway, you know, informative, whatever you want to call it. Alright, thanks much. Thanks for all the comments, and it means a lot. You know, all your comments are like, you know, this sounds like Sabbath, or this sounds like, you know, COC or something. That's killer. I love those compliments. I mean, for me, I'll just say one more thing. It's doing heavy stuff. I've just always loved doing really heavy stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why that's, you know, it's inspiring to me. I mean, I've liked heavy music since the late 70s, really, since I first heard, you know, Motorhead, Saxon, Iron. So it's about 1980, really. It's like when I first started getting into new wave of British heavy metal bands, you know. Angel Witch, Holocaust from England, you know. Venom, you know. I mean, Sabbath, of course. So my whole life, like, you know, any band that was truly heavy and you know, like, just kind of had their own thing, I totally loved. I mean, that's like with the Melvins, you know. I liked the Melvins when, from the first time saw them play, which was the Melvins' very first show, you know. My brother and I were like, wow, the Melvins are amazing, you know. They only had, I don't know if they even had any, they had 2 slow songs when we first saw them, I think. But anyway, I won't get into that. Alright, so yeah, thanks again. Alright, bye.